Hello everyone, in this lecture we will learn about list. So a list is a collection of some elements. Let's create one example. I want to store, let's see that here. So in these brackets we can add some numbers. It can be some decimal number or some string. So list can have a different data types. Let's print this list and I will print the type. So type of this list, you can see here all the elements and type is a class of type list. So list can have different data types. Usually it will be same, but it can have different data types. List has the same concept of indexing and slicing. For example, here if I want to access the index value 1, here you can see it start from 0 1, it will be 3 3 4, so it will return that. But if that index value is not present, then it will throw an exception. So you can see here index error. And slicing, let's print. So I want from 1 to 4, so it will start from 1 but 4 is excluded, and see here. So slicing. One more important point here to understand, this list data structure is mutable. Means we can modify it, we can add the elements in the existing list once it is created. So for example, or we can add or we can modify. So let's go to index value 1 and there I'll add, this is a list. Let's print this list and you can see 0 1. So in this location 3 3 4, this is modified with this value. So we can modify the existing elements of the list. This is possible because this data structure is mutable. String is immutable. String we cannot modify once it is created. We'll discuss this in detail in coming lecture, but you can see here we can modify the list. So we can modify the existing element or we can add a new element. For example, here let's append a new element. So last element. Now let's run it and see here last element is added. There are so many useful functions of a list, we will explore more. And we always know that this function length calculate the number of elements. It can be a string, it can be a list or any other data structure. Now you can see there are total 6 elements. A list can be inside another list, so that is known as nested list. So for example, here I'll create odd numbers and even numbers. So odd, even. Let's print these numbers. So here this list contains 2 more lists. Let's print it and see from this bracket. You can see here this is one list, this is another list which is inside this list. Now what if I want to access the first So we know that indexing, so it's very simple, numbers and get this index value 0 and it will print the first one. But what if I want to access, let's say this value, only this particular 4? So how to do that? So it is in even, which is 1, so index value is 1, but inside that you can see 0 1, so index 1. Here you can see, let's run it and we can access this particular element. Now let's see one more way to create a list. List 1. Here we can use constructor. So directly we can specify the type here, list, and then inside we have to create a list. So this one is of type list. Let's print it, list 1, and we'll print the type. Let's run it and you can see here this is a list type. So this is also a way to create a list, or directly you can specify.